We're gonna focus on travel. Hello, everybody. I am here with the indomitable, phenomenal.
Oh.
Y'all know I gotta pull out my words. Incredible.
$20 words. Oh my.
Producer, performer, actor, entrepreneurs,
Ooh.
all of those things.
$50 when you get it in another language.
Listen, we're here in France. We need to flex the French. We're on the beautiful Alma waterways. I'm a Christina, traveling down the Rhone River on a soulful experience.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. My goodness.
It is.
Hey, y'all, Kim Fields here. That was just so much. I was like, there's nothing else. Just go.
There's nothing else to
There's
say.
nothing else to say.
I am not gonna lie. I'm in awe
Thank
because
you.
you are an icon, and we're
you.
sitting here as two human beings,
Yes.
which is really all everyone is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still amazing because you've been such a trailblazer in so many different areas, and it's an honor, privilege, and pleasure to
Thank
be
you.
here.
It's great to be here. I was just blown away when I saw Fly Brother on this cruise that we're on for Alma Waterways, and the soulful experience that we got a little snippet of Fly Brother. Your travel journal, your passport to awesomeness, and how the production value just I'm really big on production value, and you did the darn thing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's been a
very
long
much
time
so.
coming, and
Yeah.
of course it's a team effort, as you
Sure,
know.
of course. Yes, it
visual
is.
storytelling is very collaborative.
Yes.
And so thank you for watching and for appreciating.
Absolutely.
And so you are here, one, because travel has always been a big part of your life as well. I mean,
Yeah.
we know you from film and television and other
Yeah.
endeavors, but what are some of your earliest travel experiences that you can remember?
Sure. Well, probably my very first travel experience was moving from Harlem to LA. And my mom being like, I went to school that day, first grade or so, pre-K, whatever. And when I got back to their little apartment, she's like, we're moving to California. Okay. And so that was certainly one of my first travel memories is moving. Once I started working, you do a lot of personal appearances. So I was going into a lot of different cities and being in parades and things like that. My first international travel memory was actually in France for the Facts of Life TV movie, Facts of Life Goes to Paris. And so I hadn't been back to Paris, back to France. So it was very surreal coming back as a grown woman, with all of that.
Yes.
Being at the Eiffel Tower and going down the Rhone River. And I remember, Ernest, like it was yesterday, we did a dinner when we were doing the Facts of Life movie, and we did a dinner on the Rhone River, one of those dinner cruises. And I remember sitting there going, this is cool and all, but I'm 12. I hope I come back here. I've got to come back here when I'm a grown-up so I can really appreciate it. And I did, and I did appreciate it very much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was 16 when I did my first trip to Europe, I
Okay.
guess, on my own. I was in Sweden and stayed with the family and all that kind of
Wow.
stuff. And I was so mesmerized by the difference in that experience from what I was accustomed to back
Okay.
home in Florida that I
Yeah.
was like, I'm moving to Sweden. Like, my whole life was going to be built on that one experience.
Right.
Did you have that kind of a feeling when you were in Paris, or were you ready to get back?
I don't know that I was ready to get back because also we were working,
Sure.
and so you're working long days, and we were here for a month, and then we did the movie in Australia. I also did a TV special with Andy Williams in Rome, so that took me there.
Okay.
The Spanish Steps, and just all kinds of things. And so I don't necessarily have I can't wait to get up out of here, because I really do enjoy where I am and being very present. Only now do you really embrace and understand concepts and constructs like being present.
Yes.
Right. When you're younger, or back in the day, so to speak, we were just told, just enjoy yourself. But now
Yes.
but now I think we understand the importance of really being present. I had to remind myself even on this trip, I'm a content provider, digital storyteller and all of that. And yet sometimes I went, okay, let's put my phone down and just enjoy it. Just take your mental photos, take your mental video, and just really be even more present. I was present and capturing this for myself as well as, for platforms and things. But I feel like there's that sense of really being in the moment. So when I look back on those trips, I appreciated the differences in culture.
Yes.
I've always loved history. I've always loved cultures and languages, and so the learning part really excited me. And the friends that you make, and the acquaintances that you develop into friendships and things like that. So those are the things that I really remember in my early travel. My early travel days.
Sure. Well, and I think you hit something that's very near and dear to the mission at Fly Brother, which is connection across background and boundary.
Yes.
And so, you were doing that on the show. You were doing it in your professional and personal life already. And, not all of us necessarily grew up that way. I grew up in a relatively segregated environment in Jacksonville. But one of the things that has always stayed with me as I've traveled has been my ability to connect with people. Part of that was due...
Oh, look at this church. Oh, look at this sweet little church coming up.
Y'all, we are in a gorgeous part of the south of France.
I have a thing for sweet little churches, especially in little remote villages and countries. And oh, that's just, sorry, I digress. But,
no, it's all good, because we're encouraging people to come here, to travel and come see it.
Yes,
know,
it's going to come by in a minute. Just keep watching over his shoulder. Eventually, hopefully, it'll be clear, but it's a sweet little church. But anyway.
No, and there's also a cool little suspension bridge that we're about to go under too, and I'm a bridge nerd. I used to love them. So I would make scale model bridges. So we got your church, we got my bridge.
Right.
Listen, when you travel, you get all your...
You got a twofer right here.
That's right.
You can see the steeple maybe, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, I was going to say is that just maintaining those friendships. Back in the day, like postcards, letters. Collect and long distance phone calls. But now we have, we can make connections with people, short or long, and still maintain them. And everybody's in our phone through WhatsApp or some other app or social media or whatever. And that's the beautiful part, is that we can use the technology to go online and then get offline. You know, we can still create these communities even more so and maintain them globally.
Yeah, maintaining them, nurturing them.
Yes.
I think is so key. And sometimes, you have many things in common, right? So like when we were here doing a movie, or when I went to Dublin for a day and a half to do a TV show. But you end up finding the connections with what we all do. So we're creatives, or we're in television, or we're in films, and filmmaking in one city or country, and or another continent, and things like that. So you find the things that you have in common, but also what's very different. And I think that's so much fun. To me at least, that's a lot of fun. But certainly having the tools now to be able to nurture those friendships and relationships, to be able to just pick up your phone and text, hey, how you doing?
That's right.
And it reaches halfway across the world to someone that you met either on a cruise or on a shoot or on a backpacking trip, or whatever it may be. It's such a great time to be an explorer. It's such a great time to be an adventurer. And giving into that, leaning in further into your curiosities about the world that you live in and the people that make it up.
That's right, and it's exploration, not exploitation, right? It's exploration in the way that we're looking to connect.
Here you go with them big ass words again.
Listen, now I got, I paid for them. I paid for the words.
Yes, Professor. Yes, come on.
Still paying for them. I was still. So I got the words and I got to use them. Well, and you basically, I will say this, like, you met my mom, she's here, a character, and
love her.
yes, I was raised by a community of people that ensured that I opened my mouth and spoke to people that I didn't necessarily feel like I had anything in common with.
Yeah.
And like, I'm 6 years old, and this, boy, didn't you hear Deaconess Jonathan Young talking to you?
Yes.
What I'm gonna say, Mama? Your Easter speech, you know?
Hilarious.
But you know, the practice of talking even through anxiety or even through the unknown, right? The fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And I think,
Out your
believe,
comfort zone.
yes.
Out the comfort zone, yes.
And I believe that those were the tools that set me up to be able to go out into the world, even though those were tools that I was only just honing in my community in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had some similar tools granted to you or practices encouraged in you early on to kind of help you be out here?
Well, because I started working at such a young age, and my mother, she never stopped parenting me. She wasn't trying to be my manager and all of that stuff. It was just, I've got to make sure I'm raising a good human being.
Yes.
And a great human being comes with, you know, some real foundational work. Have manners, have home training. Then when you know, add to it what I do, then be a professional. So those were kind of the tools, like you were saying, so that I did speak to people. I did understand that it took a village to make a TV show, or it takes a village to make a movie. And then really understanding it takes a village to raise Kim Fields. And so I'm all about that, you know, being able to, as you're helping to nurture other people along the way, to be able to let them know, just, you know, kind of have these basics. And that really does go far.
Yes.
I think that really does go very far.
And it's a blessing that not everybody has either, or had.
Listen, home training, that's almost like, we could probably write a book, The Art of Home Training.
That's right.
The lost art of home training. So yeah, let's get back to some of that, please.
So before I go too far and say anything about the physical reinforcement that I had as a child, as a part of that home training, what are some of your favorite places to travel to?
My favorite places to travel, it depends, because sometimes I just want to get to someplace like a quick getaway,
Sure.
you know, and sometimes that's, I know it may sound strange to say, but New York, because that's where I'm from. And so going back to Harlem, and just, you know, being in my park, St. Nicholas Park, or riding the train and just walking the streets and just being in that energy, that's one of my favorite places still to go to. St. Lucia is certainly one of my beyond happy places. That's like home / happy place. I draw so much strength from water and mountains, and so you have the Pitons, you have the Caribbean Sea, and it's just, there's no place like it to me, and it's I love the islands, any islands all over the world, but certainly the ones that give me a lot of visual stimulation with, you know, the different undulations, and then the waters and the colors of the waters, and it's just visually very stimulating. So I love going there, but really any place in the Caribbean is very home to me. You know, I have Jamaican from my paternal side, so that always is just kind of a part of my DNA, if you will. And then I'm wanting to rediscover, which is why this trip was so great, I'm wanting to rediscover Europe. And I really want to go to the Arctic region.
Yes.
I'm fascinated by that region. And so I love being able to watch shows and things where you're exploring these different places.
Sure.
But those are some of the places that I want to go to. I've not done Asia. And everyone keeps telling me, Wanda Sykes, who I work with on the Upshaws, and she went on a trip there not too long ago, and she's like, it's great, you just have to go there. So because I'm very big on wellness, like wellness is my love language. And so I know that I
love that.
And so good, it's going to be on the t-shirts.
Yeah.
And so but I am aware that a lot of the Asian culture has definitely given foundation to wellness practices, mindful meditation, yoga. I mean, just all sorts of things. So I know that I want to, as I'm exploring kind of the history of wellness, if you will. So I know that I'll be going there very soon.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's lots of places to go from there, and I do want us to talk about your wellness community and your own wellness journey. But a lot of it starts with the basics, and like any practice. And I keep saying practice just to hear myself say it, to remind myself it's not a switch that gets flipped and all of a sudden, oh, I'm well.
Yes. It's a practice and it's a lifestyle.
100% till we're dead.
Yeah.
And and hopefully that won't be for a while. And
because of the practice and the lifestyle.
That's
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want it to be enjoyable, not lingering.
Very much so. Yes, very much so.
Yes. And so one of the things that I'm always out in some natural area, even if I am in New York, which as someone who doesn't live in New York, there is something exciting about going there. Even if it's just for a few meetings and like a couple days or whatever. I really enjoy being on an express train and having like some lounge music, probably Hotel Costas from the mid to early aughts, as you pass the stations that you're not stopping at, and it's like watching things on a film strip because of the posts in the subway that go by, and that's one of those moments when I'm being very present and there's beauty that's being presented to me in that moment.
Very much so. Very much so.
Do you have any moments, be they in St. Lucia or someplace else, where it's just like, right now, this is beauty?
Oh, well, I just changed my screensaver on my phone to a shot that I took in St. Lucia. I caught the light coming through the clouds at just the right time, hitting the water, and it was one of those. This is beauty. Seeing lovers holding hands and kissing in the square as you come up the stairs from the train station.
Yes.
In whether it's St. Nicholas Park uptown or Columbus Circle, that's beauty. So there's so many different types of beauty.
That's right.
Natural beauty and the beauty that's surrounding us. I mean, every time I look up, I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my, and just taking that in because it's captivating. It really is captivating.
I mean, to me, that's really the romance of life. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yes, there's survival, and a lot of what we do gets wrapped up in that in terms of our profession and even family and this and that and the other. But what about beyond that? What's thrival looking like? And to me,
thrival. What the hell is thrival?
I did not make it up. I will say that, but I do use
you.
something that's possibly not in the dictionary yet. But we've got other words like ratchet I think is in the dictionary. If that's in the dictionary, thrival can be in the dictionary.
Okay.
And for me, thrival, feeling like full of life is
vitality.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's these moments,
Yeah.
And it is all the different ways that beauty shows up, be it, a romance that I'm participating in or someone else, be it the way light shows up in something, the way that church just showed up out of nowhere and surprised you, the way that the symmetry of that bridge that I appreciated, all of that.
And there's internal beauty that we have, or very private, intimate beauty. A good release, a good exhale, a good cry, a good revelation. That is striking beauty to me.
Yes. A good in the mirror, appreciation of the gift that you've been given of this body. When it's like, okay, you know what? At this very moment, I find it flawless. Even if physically it's the exact same, but mentally and spiritually there's alignment for you to appreciate all of that. Like I've had a few of those moments and they've been transcendent. It's listen, y'all.
Well, good for you.
If you shoot an arrow and it goes real high, hooray for you.
Hooray for you. You ass.
This is going on NPR.org.
Oh, sorry.
I really do have to go back and listen to this now.
Yes, you do.
But it's all good. I love it. So realness is what we're serving. The category is realness.
And there's so much beauty in that. Yes, very much so. But yes, go ahead.
So wellness is what we're moving to.
Yes,
and you
wellness.
have created an amazing community. You're continuing to create that. And it's evolving. And
it is.
How did it become important enough for you to want to enroll others in their own wellness journeys?
My mom always taught me, if you have a need or you see a need, fill it. Really, that's the core of it. If you see a need, fill it. If you see a void, try to fill it. And sometimes, they're very blatant, they're very obvious. But sometimes they'll just kind of sneak up on you, especially when you are like, I know so many entrepreneurs where they just started from a space of, I couldn't find this. I didn't see this. This wasn't available to me. So I just made it. So I just created it. So I just figured it out, and I just, and not that you have a degree in it, not that you have an expertise in it, but it just comes out of a need, a void, whether it's in your own universe or someone else's. And so for me, when COVID happened, I think like many people, you were in a space of your mortality is really hitting you upside your head, or the concept of mortality, the concept of longevity, the concept of breath. And that one really got me, how sacred breath is. And so all of that just kind of kept swirling around. And I just thought I didn't want to be goal oriented, well, lose weight for a red carpet dress, or, do this, or so you can look in the mirror and go, eh. So
y'all better look in the mirror and go, y'all better do it.
Yes, we do. Yes, I do. And so for me, I started looking at, well, what does that look like? What does longevity look like? How do I do that? I'm sure there's a process. And I just really wasn't finding any information or any person, any influencer, anything. And so I just thought, well, I'll just, start looking. And then when I find something, I'll share with the class. And turns out there were a lot of other people looking for something and needing something. So it started out on my IG Live with conversations with different people who maybe were not featured in a magazine or spotlighted, or a brand, a service, things like that. And it really resonated. And so they became monthly chats all of a sudden. And then people were really like, it was almost like back in the olden days, not that I was there, but when
you heard
beforehand, yes, what I'm hearing is before TV was really invented, the radio, where everybody would gather around and listen to the, the Sunday night show or whatever it was. And so people were really looking for like my show. And so I realized that this wellness community and the idea of Refresh came from just wanting to be well, and being very inclusive. I was feeling like wellness was this thing where if you weren't, real talk, if you weren't white and rich and skinny and rich.
Blonde.
but there were, but you know, for the folks that are of color,
Yes.
You know, it was either a certain demographic,
Sure.
or a certain price point. It was like, well, I'm none of that is landing.
That's right.
And I'm always wanting to be inclusive, to make sure men feel seen and included, women feel seen and included. There's no segregation for elevation. I cannot stand it. Hey, I got big words.
Showed,
hey,
and they
now.
rhyme.
What?
That rhyme. She's a poet, and you know it.
Oh my gosh! But I really was making sure that it was very inclusive, and that we would talk about, you know, uncomfortable things. We would talk about things that you just don't think about,
Yes.
and you just like, oh, I do need to think about these things, and so that's where Refresh was born. From there, we had the conversations for like several years. Then,
Sure.
I was on vacation last year, right at Labor Day weekend, and I was at a resort in Georgia, and I was like, oh, this place is gorgeous. I want to do a wellness retreat. Girl, you ain't never done no wellness retreat. You've never even been to a wellness retreat. What? But okay, let's do it. And literally 3 months later was my first wellness retreat. And we had over 100 people, and I thought, oh my
Amazing.
Goodness. Oh my goodness. And then we just had our last one in June, early June. We did spring into summer, and we had 125 people. And so we like the idea of being intimate and inclusive, you know, and that you're the theme, the tagline is give yourself permission to be well.
Right.
Give yourself permission to be well. And as an actor, we're taught, you know, give yourself permission to go there, to really dive into the character, to, you know, really do this in the scene. And so I took that same concept of give yourself permission. It's incredibly liberating. Oh, family. Baby, giving yourself permission. And when you take those limits off, Jeff and I talk about this a lot, Jeff Jenkins, coming out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
I have this cup, I think his name is Neil Donald Walsh. And
Oh, yes. Conversations with
yes,
God.
Yes. He has this quote, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And I got introduced to that quote in 2016 when I did Dancing with the Stars. And it was like it just unlocked everything for me. And I've not looked back. I have not looked back. It was a game changer. So I gave myself permission in so many different aspects of my life, of my career, of my everything. And so from there, it's just now about leveling up the permission.
I'm speechless, which is it's not as hard as people think, but it's just so impactful. I'm giving yourself the permission for anything.
Anything.
We're taught to do anything other than that.
Yeah.
We're distracted from the fact that it really comes back to us, and
Yes.
it's our responsibility.
Absolutely.
We have to take the responsibility of our own wellness into our own hands. And yes, there are people to support that, but the work, everybody, all the best that anyone else can do is be your coach.
Yes.
Or your trainer.
Or your support.
Or your support, but you've got to lift the weight.
Yeah.
And do the work. And so how then can people, how are the ways that people can engage with the community? Like
Sure.
what? Yeah.
Well, they can follow us certainly on all the social media platforms with Refresh by KF. Refresh by KF. On YouTube, we are Channel Refresh. And so you have a lot of my conversations there. I just did my first in-person conversation earlier this year with National Geographic explorer Albert Lynn. And I'm such a fan. We spent the first 10 minutes just fanboying, fangirling. It's like, okay, let's have a conversation now. And so we also have our website, Refresh Retreat by KF. So that's where they can get information on our next retreat, which is December 13th through the 15th in Stone Mountain, Georgia. 2024, yes. And so, it's one of those things where engagement, I'm not a bandwagon celebrity, so my brand is certainly not going to be a bandwagon brand. So I'm not going to, it's Wednesday, we're a wellness brand, we better do Wellness Wednesday. Hey, if we don't have something to say at that moment, let what's out there simmer. Let that marinate. Let that breathe for a minute. So if you don't hear from us for a second, we're still there, but we are intentional with what we're doing because we're pouring into you. And we have to also listen as well.
Yes.
To be able to hear, well, what is it I'm not just going to put something out just to post for the sake of posting, as opposed to, oh no, okay, I feel like this is what someone might need right now. And we have that same mindset with the retreats. And so sure enough, when people say, we've had at least 3 people let us know that they were suicidal and that this retreat saved their lives. I mean, it's that's certainly not why, but it's a heck of a motivator.
Sure.
Heck of a motivator.
And so, just as we wrap this up, as we go down this lock, for those who are watching this on YouTube,
the wall over there we're about to get lowered.
That's right. What do people receive when they engage?
Well, from a digital standpoint, sure. From a digital standpoint, whether you're engaging with quote unquote Kim Fields or Refresh by KF, Refresh Retreat, Channel Refresh, and even with my coffee line, Signature Blends by KF, Live Coffee and Tea, it's an experience. We curate experiences. We understand being a part of your realm and how to support you in that. So whether it's utilitarian, I need my coffee in the morning, I need my hot tea in the morning, I need my espresso martini at night, I need my mocktail midday, whatever it is.
Yes.
I need a good laugh from a character that Kim has played. I need relatability in a conversation. It's all about the experiences that we're engaging with you, because no one has time to waste. And so if you are blessing us with your time, never mind your money, if you're blessing us with your time, then there's something that we have that you want to engage in. And I don't take that lightly, and you've allowed me to do that in some way since I was 7 years old with you. So let's keep going, but at the same time, it's not just the distance, it's the quality, and that's where the level up keeps coming in. So I'm always looking at how do I level up with the show that I'm on, with a movie, with a script that I say yes to, with content. How do I level up my retreats? How do I level up a post? Because that to me is really the sweet spot,
yes,
for me.
Kim Fields, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being so
captivating,
bold, empowered, empowering, just mesmerizing in how you channel just this well-being, this understanding of the need to just take care of yourself, in all the different ways, filling up the cup. And we get all this information in bits and pieces, but it's helpful to have people who've had experiences and reached moments of peace and beauty and full self-expression, and I've been blessed to have some of those too.
Sure.
That's why we're even having this conversation.
Yes.
And it again is an honor. It is a privilege. It is a pleasure.
I look forward to more with you.
Yes, likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And you. Everybody, stay tuned because we got more coming for you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, lady. Oh my God. That's probably
and we cut.
Yeah, that's right. That's gonna get.